A boy and a girl have been floating in the sea for days. The girl is terrified and hopes that someone can come to her rescue. But the boy is very calm, because in front of him is his longtime classmate. At this time, the girl suddenly found a small island in front of her. So the two of them hurried to board the small boat to the island. However, they didn't know. Next, the two of them will go through another period of desolate island survival. After landing, Emma was in a hurry to find a hotel to take a bath. But after a while, she found that there was no sign of human activity at all. Emma is afraid and wants to go back to the small boat to wait for help. The tide has risen. The small boat has long disappeared. They had no choice but to choose to settle down here. On the way back, the two of them found a beautiful hot spring. There's also a cave next to the hot spring. The rich girl who can live in a 5-star hotel. Where have you ever suffered this kind of crime? I don't want to live in it. But the natural hot spring can enjoy a good time. Look at Emma's perfect figure. The enemy is not surprised to see Harold. The night is coming soon. The two of them are very depressed. If no one has come to the rescue, what should they do next? Fortunately, Emma is used to carrying a compression bag with her. It contains food and cell phones. But there is no signal on the island. Then the two of them simply ate something. This is how the mood is relaxed. A few days ago, Emma and Diane were still classmates who did not interact with each other. Emma's family is close to English. Good taste. And she is very beautiful. She is a dream lover in the eyes of boys. And Diane has a lonely personality. He doesn't like to communicate with people. He is the worst student in the whole class. On this day, the school held a graduation trip. Everyone is having fun. Only Diane stood alone on the second floor. At night, the classmates gathered on the yacht. Who knew that a team of sea police suddenly came to raid the inspection? As a result, in a panic, Emma accidentally fell off the ship. This scene was just seen by Diane. So he was in a hurry to jump down to save people. He pulled Emma on the lifeboat. He cut the rope immediately, because he didn't want to get involved with the police. He was going to wait for them to leave before returning to the yacht. The yacht suddenly started the engine, accelerated and left here. That's it. The two of them can only float on the sea. Finally, they came to this island. In order to save themselves, Emma wrote a rescue signal on the beach, hoping that the boats and rescue teams passing by can find them in time. But Diane, who woke up, didn't do anything. He took off his clothes and jumped into the sea to swim. He didn't know what kind of trouble they were going to face next. After that, the two of them began to use the leaves to build a temporary shelter. He picked coconuts and bananas from the trees. With the nourishment of food, the two of them were in a good mood. Diane completely adapted to the life here. On the island, he doesn't have to communicate with people. There is a new goddess by his side. This is his paradise. He doesn't want to go back to the real world. Looking at the pretty girl in front of him, Diane even has a different idea. And after a while of getting along, Emma is no longer in the same place. The two of them swam together and slept together. After eating the fruit, they rushed to the shore. An unexpected disaster was clearly seen by them as an outdoor paradise. However, the two of them did not know that they were missing. The two families have been lost. They contacted the local police and searched along the line. In the end, nothing was found. With the passage of time, the police even concluded that the two of them had been buried in the sea. They gave up and continued to search. But Emma's parents still believed that their daughter was still alive. At the same time, the long and boring life on the island made the two of them mentally collapsed. Emma missed the old days every day. What's worse, they don't even have their only lighter. In the next few days, the two of them can only live the original life of burning wood. When Diane was extremely depressed, he suddenly found a hole under the sand. Emma was so scared that she ran away. She collapsed instantly because she thought the other party must be like her. They are all the victims of this island. She is worried that one day she will become like this. At this moment, she wants to leave here immediately. Diane had to comfort her. After a sweet talk, Emma's mood finally calmed down. The two of them also found the joy of being on the island. That night, the two of them boldly tried the original boring life. Finally, there was a different color. Emma, who had been out for a long time, fell asleep. When she woke up again, it was the second night. Strangely, Diane didn't know where he went. He hurriedly put on his clothes and went to look for it. Finally, he found him digging a hole in the forest. Emma was very confused. She didn't know what he was doing. Between the two of them, Emma accidentally fell into the pit. Her knee was seriously injured. Diane explained to her that he wanted to bury the victim. When Diane's mother died, there was no proper funeral. This also became her eternal pain. She felt that every lost life should be respected. Diane's explanation not only relieved Emma's confusion, but also made her look at this boy differently. So she rewarded him for taking a hot spring with her. There's no cell phone on the island, no network, and no complicated social activities. The two of them slept and ate every day. At this time, they were like a couple who depended on each other. They lived every day without any thoughts. At the same time, their tired parents didn't give up their search for the two of them. They rented a plane and searched the coastal town according to the current information. They also issued a search warning on the coast. They didn't miss any possible clues. But every time they tried, they were more desperate. Sometimes they even doubted themselves. The children should all be dead. Should they give up now? They looked at the flowers sent by their classmates at the door. Emma's mother was heartbroken. On the other hand, after more than a month of getting along, the passion between the two of them gradually returned to calm. Emma began to worry about survival. She didn't know how long the two of them could survive here. Was the pile of bones on the beach their final home? At this time, Diane would patiently guide her. That's it. A few months later, now they have taken themselves as the Aborigines here. The food also extends from the wild fruit on the land to the delicious food at the bottom of the sea. But when it's quiet, they still feel a little boring. Every now and then, they will miss their past. Diane told Emma that she had fallen in love with her a long time ago. Emma also confessed to her that she had also paid attention to Diane. She thought she was introverted and silent. I didn't expect to get along with her during this time, and I found out that she was actually an interesting person. The two of them are in love. Anyway, life is so boring. So they decided to launch a man-made plan on the island to make this place their Aboriginal garden. Just when the two of them were immersed in it and couldn't pull themselves out, an accident suddenly occurred. That day, Diane was picking wild fruit. Suddenly, the sound of a helicopter came from the top of her head. She rushed to get the flare gun. As a result, she found that the flare gun was missing. She screamed at the helicopter. But this kind of behavior is useless. In a hurry, Emma turned over and picked up the tea. Unexpectedly, even her cosmetics flew away. She thought there must be other people on the island. Emma, who was terrified, wanted to jump into the sea and swim out of here. But doing this is undoubtedly a dead end. But fortunately, she felt that her parents had not given up looking for them. Maybe one day in the future, they can leave this deserted island. But Diane told her not to hold too high a hope. She should be prepared to stay here for a long time. At this time, a strange sound suddenly came from the valley. Diane hurried to look for it. As a result, she met a black leopard. She was terrified and ran away in a hurry. She used the complex terrain to avoid the attack of the black leopard. In the end, it was not easy. She killed the black leopard with a self-made dagger. Then she rushed to Emma. She saw that Diane was so brave. Her feelings exploded in an instant. After a while, their deserted island life was back to normal. They picked wild fruit together during the day. When they were free, Diane would also teach him how to fish in the sea. They also built a shelter in the valley. They planned to live on the island for a long time. As time goes by, the students have forgotten the existence of Emma and Diane. Only their parents often remember this sad experience. The two people in the deserted island also temporarily forgot the outside world. They were together all day long. Not long after, Emma felt like vomiting. Diane thought she must be pregnant. So they began to discuss how to store food. At this time, an empty bottle was suddenly thrown from the tree. There were also a lot of cosmetics and toothpaste. The two of them got up in a hurry to check. They found a monkey on the tree. What he was holding was the signal gun. It turned out that the monkey had stolen their bag before. As soon as Emma got close, the alliance exchanged it for a banana. Unexpectedly, the monkey was a foodie. He immediately threw the signal gun down. When he saw Emma's hope, he fired a shot directly at the sky. This time, the signal gun had only one bullet left. Diane and the alliance stopped his impulsive behavior. The two of them had a fierce quarrel over it. After calming down, Emma realized her recklessness and took the initiative to apologize to Diane. At this time, the sound of a helicopter came from the top of her head. It seems that the shot just now worked. The two of them ran to the open beach and fired the last bullet at the sky. The rescue workers on the helicopter saw them. After more than a year of life on the desert island, the two of them were finally rescued. Outside the airport, both parents and a media reporter have been waiting for a long time again. Looking at Emma's embrace of her parents, Diane at this time felt that the two of them seemed to have returned to their own world. Familiar and strange. Seeing that Emma didn't turn around, Diane left here in disappointment. After returning home, Diane was depressed all day. The figure of the girl has been lingering in her mind. Finally, she couldn't help it and took the initiative to find Emma. She thought they could still be as intimate as on the island. But Emma just sighed a few words and gave her a bamboo cut. Maybe she's not ready to face reality. But Diane's heart was broken. Not long after, in order to thank Diane for her care over the past year, Emma took the initiative to invite her to her birthday party. Many classmates came to the class. Everyone laughed and laughed. Emma completely became the way she was before she went missing. Although the two of them occasionally had eye contact, she deliberately kept a distance from Diane. Diane seemed to understand what she meant. In the days to come, she will only look at Emma from afar and not bother her. Not long after, the school held a graduation party. The father could see the thought of his son. So he lent his swallow's tail to him. In the evening, Diane came to Emma. This scene reminded her of the hard times on the island. That unforgettable experience awakened the love in Emma's heart. So they reconciled and got back together. The movie, Blue Pepper Awakens, tells the story of two high school students who accidentally ended up on the island. It's a fresh love story. The psychological change that the rich girl brought due to the lack of environment permeated the whole film. If you like survival movies, you can go and have a look.